All right, here we go. We are actually live. Hi, it is Thoughtful Thursdays with your therapy doctor, Dr. Pauline Belton. Here I am, and today is going to be a good one. So, if you have not had the opportunity to share, to like, or subscribe, please do so. We are on StreamYard, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And I want to share this topic with you today. What is that? The topic is code switching. And what does that actually mean? What does that look like, sound like, and feel like? But get into it with me. I have all the notes and all of the things that I want to say to you in this short amount of time, and I'm going to keep with it. But by now, you know the heartbeat of where I come from. Mental health is living. It is you living your most authentic life, whether it is with family, with friends, with your significant other, all of the above. That is mental health. How you behave, how you feel, and how you actually get into life. Okay. And so today, Thoughtful Thursdays is all about code switching, and it's that fatigue of code switching. Let me share with you what that may mean. Code switching is when we are at our very best. Any situation that we go into, we are adjusting how we sound and how we present ourselves. No, it's not you being brand new. It's not you being fake. It is something that we naturally do. You don't talk to your mother or your father the same way that you talk to your friends. You don't talk to your boss the same way, your supervisor the same way that you talk to your sister, your brother, or your significant other. And hopefully, you don't talk to your significant other that way either. So it's a lot. It's a slight shift that we do, and that's what's called code switching. And when we do code switching, it is something that is almost innate. It's like you breathing. You're thinking about the situation, the room that you're in. Okay. And with that being said, what does that actually mean when we have to code switch throughout our day? And so I'm going to share this with you. So today we're going to talk about code switching because many of us do it without noticing. Okay. And it is that constant adjustment. And because of that, it costs us that performance tax. It costs us the emotional energy, the time that our brain takes to adjust, even when we are unaware of it. So take a breath and let's get into it. Okay. The first part we're going to deal with is called name it. We're going to name that the real thing, right? You've got a voice for one room and then another voice for another room. And a lot of you will say, no, I don't. I'm the same person. I'm the same way in any room that I go into, whether it is family, friends, or foe. I am the same way. I want you to think about that. I want you to think about that because that's not necessarily the full story. Okay. It may be what you believe, but it's not the full story. You adjust how you talk to your children when they're hurt, when they are doing the best, when you are proud of them. You are also adjusting when you are talking to your parent or when you're talking to that loved one that is older than you. You're talking very different and you have a different energy and flow when you're talking to your friends. So let's talk about what that actually looks like, sound like, and feel like. Okay. Because some adjusting is just being socially skilled. Okay. Socially skilled. We all, you know, are flexible or flex in a particular way depending on the room that we're in. I know anytime that I walk into a room where I am speaking and we're talking about mental health, oh, I have a different energy. I have a different energy when I talk to um, my husband. I have a different energy when I talk to my best friend. I have a different energy when I'm talking to my brothers or my good cousin sisters. Like my sister cousins, we get at it, right? We have fun. We love on each other, but we also can, can be talking to the wee hours of night, right? And so that all matters in code switching. So, how about this? In navigating stress in the workplace, I call this emotional cost performance tax. If you haven't gotten your copy, please go grab it, right? The Kindle copy is actually very nominal right now for you and for this purpose, right? It's the energy that you pay on top of everything else to perform that version of you that needs to show up in its best form, but in the best way. And that switching back and forth is called code switching. But what it costs you is performance tax, whether that's a light cost or a high or heavy cost. Sometimes when we're angry or irritated, we get extremely um, discombobulated when we don't regulate our emotions. But then you got to go into this high stake meeting, or you have to go and talk to your significant other or your parent about something that is exciting, that is heavy, that is uncomfortable. So we're going to talk with about both of those things, right? Whether you have to go from, being fit at work or keeping the peace at home. All of those things are code switching, but it does come at a performance tax. Like, how do you feel? What does that look like, sound like, and feel like? Like, and by the end of the day, the end of the week, a lot of us are running on empty, and that performance tax is high. This is one of those weeks for me. It's one of those weeks because of how I managed my day, the different rooms and arenas that I had to go in and out of throughout the week. But also, it comes at a cost because sometimes my sleep will be affected, sometimes there's no sleep, and sometimes I'm just running on fumes because of how that goes. And you understand that. You've been there, done that. You've been in that arena, right? So here's the part. It's today's pillar is elevate emotional agility. And that's from the heart framework. The heart framework means that the emotional agility doesn't mean that you're being rigid. And it doesn't mean that you are, taking things for granted. It means that you're being able to move and to choose your response instead of to be on autopilot. Okay? You make those choices. You make those decisions. Okay? And that also means that you can't choose what you see and don't see, right? You have to first see, what is this costing me? For me, this past week, it cost me sleep. It cost me that emotional regulation, that fatigue, going in and out of the different rooms and arenas and different persons and personalities that I had to deal with, right? But it's my choice. I had to decide, what do I need to do to leverage this? Okay. So agility asks one question, and it works in any room that you go into. Am I adapting or am I disappearing? Right? Adapting is all that I bring to the moment. Am I calm? Am I collected? Am I being the person that I need to be in this moment? Right? Disappearing is I'll hide who I am because I don't think they want to see that side of me. But also, I'm disappearing because I'm not being authentic or being truthful to what I need to bring to this moment. Yes, sometimes we want to fuss fight. We want to say all of the things that are going to be disruptive. It might not be the time, the place, or even the room in which for you to do that. And so that's where, and that's what's defining your code switching. But you also have to be careful about the performance tax that it is costing you to adjust. Okay. Sometimes you have to think in terms of, is this worth it or is it not? Especially in today's society. And here's what's underneath it: nobody should have to leave themselves at the door to belong in any room. The goal is to never adjust, it is to keep the core of you. And that means for you to stay consistent and anchored in every space that you're in. Sometimes people come to the room that you're in to disrupt you. And because they come to disrupt you, they've already learned where to poke and how um, to make you unstable. They know how to get you to emotionally elevate so that you don't, stay firm where you are, right? And that's a couple of ways. That is you being able to say, hey, um, I'm in this meeting. I may not agree with everything that's going on in this meeting, but I'm going to take notes. I'm going to focus on what I need to do in order to get to the goal, to accomplish what I need to accomplish. That's what I'm going to focus on. I'm not going to focus on the person or the emotional dysregulation that they bring to the table. And so I have to internally regulate myself. And to do that, you also need to think about whether you go to the family event or family situation where our family can challenge us in the most egregious ways because they don't always see the adult. They see the sibling they grew up with. They see the cousin they grew up with. They don't see the whole person that transformed into this adult that you are. And so you have triggers, not thinking, not feeling as if they will unroot themselves when you're in any room. They absolutely will, and they absolutely do, especially if you are not aware of self and taking in tandem, what is it that I need right now? So elevate emotional agility, meaning that you need to learn, what does it mean for me to adjust? That's the heart framework. How am I, number one, being aware of what triggers me, good, bad, or indifferent? What does that look like, sound like, or feel like? And then, am I putting in place those systems, those coping strategies to ground myself so that I can legitimately ask this question: am I adapting to my situation or am I disappearing? That is the question that will get you through any room, any place, any time. And so here's today's thoughtful move. You know, we got to have one. We have to have that behavior action that will help us to alleviate the code switching fatigue and to elevate emotional agility. So, what does that look like, sound like, and feel like for us? So, today's thoughtful move is choose one authentic anchor, one thing that will bring about that constant stay for you in every room. For me, I do a deep cadence of breathing in any room that I go into. Why? Because I need to ground and anchor myself in most situations. Although this is lively what I do, I am innately, and I shared this with a client today, I'm innately an introvert. Innately, I would love to be home, wrapped in my cozy blanket and watching TV, right? It's not something that I can afford to do because I haven't won the billionaire lottery yet. So here I am doing exactly what I love, teaching, right? And so here's how we get through this. It's going to anchor you at work or at home. It doesn't matter. I want you to think about this and how would this apply to you? And we're going to go step by step. So here's that. The step one, we're going to find it, a value. I lead with honesty. That's a phrase. I lead with honesty. I actually lead with grounding. I lead by leveraging my emotional reservoir. I bring warmth wherever I go. Nobody can move that out of you unless you move it. Think about how you want to show up and then lead yourself into that. Okay? A truth. I tell the truth gently. That's not always the case, especially with me, but I also learn how to read the room. Sometimes my candidness, my my firmness in stating the truth is not what the room needs. It doesn't mean that I have to lie or adjust the truth. What it means is that I have to be careful about my delivery because sometimes my delivery is the issue, not necessarily the truth. Okay. Do you resonate with that? Have you been in that situation before? Yeah, no, I'm just me. That's just how I am. It might be so, but are you reading the room? Because you aren't the only one in the room, whether you're at work or at home. Let's just be honest about that part, right? And then pick one that makes your shoulders drop because it's just you. So when I say step one, I'm going to fill my day walking into any room with warmth. That allows my brain to calm down, my heart to just settle, but my body to just relax. Okay. Step two, write it where you'll see it before the hard moments. A sticky note on your mirror, your phone, wallpaper, one line. One line. I bring warmth in every room I walk in. I bring calm to every space I stay in. I bring a gentle truth to every conversation that I partake in. Okay? That's step two. Write it where you can see it before the hard moments because it helps the brain, the heart, and the body to actually align when those hard moments come in, because that one statement stays with you. Now, watch it land in both rooms. Practice those two things. At work, before a high stakes meeting, I want you to read your anchor and say it quietly. I get to bring this with me. I get to bring calm with me. I get to bring agility with me. I get to bring all of me in the room, and I know how to share it in a way that brings truth and honor and authentically who I am. Yes, I get tongue tied. Um, at home, before a tense conversation, same anchor. I bring calm to any room I go into. I can bring a gentle truth. It's all in the delivery. I am the peacemaker, and I lead with that, right? Okay, mine. I make people feel safe to be human. I love this part. I love this part about me, and it stays in my brain. Wherever I am, it comes with me. I make people feel safe to be human. You don't have to be perfect. That's not human. You don't, you're going to make mistakes. That's human. You can say things to me. I will determine whether I need your correction. Did you mean to elevate your voice to me? Did you mean to yell at me? Did you mean to? And if you did, let me share something with you. I don't speak to you that way. And I don't receive you speaking to me that way. So I have a choice. If you continue to speak that way, I will exit this conversation. I will exit the room. And now I've put money into my resilience budget because I protected my boundaries, maintained them, and then I spoke my truth gently, firmly, code switching. So this week, one anchor, carry it into every room. Watch how much or how less it costs when you stop paying the tax of disappearing. You don't have to. You just have to adjust to, what do I need to do? Do I need to soften the activity that's going on in my brain? Do I need to soften my heart, but then make my brain elevated or activated? Do I need to take out all of the anxiety that rushes up in me that may cause me to be fearful, to be angry, to be aggressive or egregious? What do I need? It's one statement. I make people feel safe to be human because it's what I practice. I bring calm to any room that I come in. Now, the calm isn't meant for everybody else. It's meant for me. My ability to be calm is not predicated on anyone else but what I decide for me, right? And so that looks different in every room. So pull up a chair. Let's go. What's your authenticity anchor? What is that for you? For me, I make people feel safe to be human. What's your anchor? Put it in the comment. We are live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Whenever you're watching this, I want you to be able to practice this for yourself, because Here's the thing. And if you felt code switching fatigue this week, I want you to put a one in the chat at whether it's at home or at work, or maybe both. And then I want you to look at this, review this again, because I want you to be able to have those two prompts, right? Two steps. First step is I want you to find it, find the value in making that one statement. I want you to do step two. Write it where you can see it, whether it's on your phone, on your computer, whether it is something that you have attached to you, right? And then I want you to practice that in every room. Every room you go into, it works. It works. Code switching is a natural part of what we do as humans because generationally, societally, that's what we have been doing, right? You know, you can't say certain, well, I'm a Southern girl. So there's certain things I could not say to my parents that I said to my friends. I wish you would. Absolutely not, right? You don't speak to elders or adults a particular way. That's different in today's society, except for my children. They know better. They know better. However, they know how to use their voice. They know how to bring a calm to the room. They know how to calm themselves, anchor themselves, right? So when I say pull up a chair, I want you to engage. I want you to say what your anchor is. What will you practice, whether it's at home or at work? What does that look like, sound like, and feel like? And then here's what I want you to carry into your weekend. Where do I get the most fullness of myself? And how do I bring more of that everywhere I go? Let's do some quiet work. For me, I get my fullness when I am at home, when I am, taking time for myself, when I have quiet the noise. And I actually build that into my cup every single day because I need it, right? So your move, choose one anchor and carry it into one room, one hard conversation this week, whether it's at home or at work. Reclaim the fuel you've been spending on disappearing. Show up for yourself. Follow so you never miss another thoughtful Thursday. Do that and tag someone. If you feel that this is something that is valuable, we're going to be here every Thursday in July. But I especially am grateful for your time, for your attention, for you pouring into you. And I want you to believe this if you don't believe anything else. We deserve the best of ourselves. You are the only person that you will never be able to get rid of. So why not treat you well? Show up on Thursdays. And here's what we're doing next week. When you're the only one, the weight of being the one and only in the room and how connection becomes your lifeline. You have to be careful who you're actually connecting yourself to. And so until then, are you worth bringing that into every room? You are. You're worth any and everything, as long as it benefits you in a way that is healthy, that is not damaging to you, yourself, and others. Because guess what? Mental health is living how you think, how you feel, and how you behave. You reading the room, you being able to anchor yourself, we all love you for it. See you next Thursday. Bye.